The man who would become Christianity's greatest missionary started as its most feared enemy. Imagine the irony. The person responsible for spreading the gospel to the ends of the earth once dedicated his life to destroying it completely. Meet Saul of Tarsus, a zealous Pharisee living in 1st century Jerusalem. He's brilliant, educated, and absolutely convinced that this new Christian movement threatens everything he holds sacred. While other religious leaders debate and discuss, Saul takes action. He doesn't just oppose Christians, he hunts them down with ruthless efficiency. Saul's reputation precedes him everywhere. Christian families whisper his name in terror. When believers hear he's coming to their city, they flee or go into hiding. The book of Acts describes him as breathing threats and murder against the disciples of the Lord. He's not content with casual opposition. This is personal warfare. His campaign of persecution reaches a horrific climax with Stephen's martyrdom. As the first Christian martyr dies under a hail of stones, Saul stands nearby, holding the coats of the executioners. He doesn't throw stones himself, but his approval is clear. Stephen's final words, a prayer for his killer's forgiveness, fall on Saul's deaf ears. After Stephen's death, Saul escalates his campaign. He goes house to house, dragging men and women from their homes and throwing them into prison. Families are torn apart. The early church scatters in terror, but even this isn't enough for Saul. He wants to expand his crusade beyond Jerusalem's borders. Saul approaches the high priest with an ambitious plan. He wants official letters of authority to travel to Damascus, about 150 miles north. Damascus has a significant Christian population, and Saul intends to arrest them, all men and women alike, and bring them back to Jerusalem in chains. The high priest grants his request. Armed with official documents, Saul sets out for Damascus with a small company of men. He's probably feeling confident, maybe even excited about the coming arrests. This journey will be his greatest triumph against the Christian movement, but God has different plans. As Saul and his companions near Damascus, something extraordinary happens. Around midday, when the sun blazes overhead, a light suddenly flashes around them, but this isn't sunlight. Acts 26:13 describes it as brighter than the sun. The light is so intense, it knocks Saul to the ground and blinds him completely. Then comes a voice from heaven, speaking in Hebrew. "Saul, Saul, why do you persecute me?" The voice is gentle but authoritative, personal yet cosmic. Saul, trembling and confused, asks who's speaking. The answer changes everything. "I am Jesus, whom you are persecuting." This moment shatters Saul's worldview. The Jesus he thought was dead is very much alive. The movement he's trying to destroy has divine backing. Every arrest he's made, every family he's torn apart, every Christian he's imprisoned, Jesus takes personally. Jesus gives Saul specific instructions. "Rise and enter the city, and you will be told what you must do." Saul's companions hear the voice, but see no one. They're stunned into silence by this supernatural encounter. When Saul tries to stand, he realizes he's completely blind. This feared persecutor must now be led by hand into the very city where he planned to arrest Christians. The hunter has become helpless prey. For 3 days, Saul sits in Damascus, blind and refusing food or water. He's processing the most traumatic experience of his life. Everything he believed, everything he fought for, has been turned upside down. He's not just wrong, he's been fighting against God himself. Meanwhile, Jesus appears to a Damascus Christian named Ananias in a vision. Jesus tells Ananias to find Saul and restore his sight. Ananias is understandably terrified. This is like being asked to help a notorious serial killer. But Jesus reveals his plan. Saul will become his chosen instrument to carry the gospel to Gentiles, kings, and the children of Israel. When Ananias finds Saul and lays hands on him, scales fall from his eyes. His sight returns immediately, but more than physical sight is restored. Saul now sees spiritual truth clearly for the first time. He's baptized immediately, taking the name Paul. The transformation is instant and complete. Paul immediately begins preaching in Damascus synagogues, declaring that Jesus is the Son of God. The same voice that once threatened Christians now proclaims Christ. The same passion that drove persecution now fuels evangelism. This dramatic conversion launches the most successful missionary career in Christian history. Paul will plant churches across the Roman Empire, write much of the New Testament, and turn Christianity from a Jewish sect into a global faith. The road to Damascus becomes the road to worldwide gospel proclamation. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and hit the notification button for weekly videos, thoughtful reflections, and stories that stir the soul.